Hi, Rebecca. Yeah, so I think, yeah, we can start. Nice to be here with you. Lucas asked me to present a bit my experience with KikoChat and the Unconference we did a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to share my screen in order to tell you a little bit more about the event and also how we designed it and all that, yeah? And we can, of course, you can always ask questions. First of all, I hope you can see this now.
Yes, we have it.
Great. So as you can see, this is more the general event. It was a kind of conference which was initially planned as a real residential conference taking place in a room, in a hotel actually. And we switched it then from a 3 days event to a 7 online event series in a way. And one of these events was the barcamp, the online barcamp, and the whole background of the event is youth mobility in the digital era. So there are let's say mobility programs out there based on EU programs, most of them, in order to bring people from different countries closer together, as you could imagine. So I'm based in Berlin, and the whole conference was organized by different stakeholders, as you can see here: National Agency for the EU program Erasmus+, for example. There's another agency from Germany involved, one from Estonia, another one from Finland, and the national agency from Finland too. So, and our audience was also European-wide and beyond, because Europe is also always working with partner countries. So this was more or less people, stakeholders involved in international youth work in a way, yeah. And we asked the big question of how could youth mobility look like in these times of digitalization, let's say. What is about virtual exchanges, things like that. So, and as the whole thing started in June, it was still quite a moment of confusion and needed for exchange. We decided after the opening, which was a live stream, to immediately go and offer a barcamp, so that people could share about topics they are in a moment tackling with, because a lot of people needed to dive into the digital topics quite immediately, haven't had any idea before. And from there also to think about, to share kind of experience and all that. So it was quite an open topic for the barcamp. And now I show this to you. So as a second event, as I said, so this is just what I then created in KikoChat. There is maybe one interesting thing. This is just, I wanted to show you. We worked as 2 facilitators. This is not the other one. So 2 moderators who were definitely concentrating and focusing more on the whole facilitating part and being in touch with the people and all that. And we had also 2 people, and David was one of them, as the technical moderation, yeah? So more in charge of the whole letting people in, solving problems if they are, checking if people are in time back and things like that, and that everything works. So we needed this backup because we were also moderating, my colleague and me. That was pretty good, I think. And David was one, he's from Austria, and he normally before did all these online barcamps with just Zoom and different accounts and different devices in his office in order to get in all the rooms, yeah. So which was, and when we were talking, I was saying, well, David, I think we don't do this because this is actually so much depending then also on his internet connection, all that stuff, and also technically wise so stressful. And we checked KikoChat and he hasn't worked before with it, and this is how we end up both checking it a little bit. So I was also technically moderation a bit, even if this was not planned, but then we did it, and he's quite convinced now that this works a bit easier, let's say. So we created this event, and this is how it looked like. Maybe in order to understand a bit better, we had a registration process before, because it's needed for the EU programs, but then we decided, in order to be more open and let more people come in, to even share the links, yeah? And there we come already to a tricky point, was also a bit challenging, because I mean, if everybody can just enter, then there's no password, so everybody can enter. I come to this point a bit later, but this is why we needed to give some instructions, even last minute people could join, on how KikoChat is working, because we sent out some let's say tutorial in a way via email to people who registered before, but some people who came in last minute may had problems to find, for example, how to enter to the main room of Zoom, yeah, or some other technical things. So we needed to write everything down here also to find that they find their way.
How many people participated?
Yeah, this is also something I wanted to show you, because here, if we go to members, that was quite interesting also, and it worked quite well, because normally first we thought we will use a Padlet, which is just another tool. I probably think that you know it, in order that people can present themselves and make a pin where they are coming from. And then we discovered that this part is also covered by KikoChat itself. And so we asked people to actually register. A few even did with the photo, yeah. And we had 149 members in that. And I think a few came later in, a few didn't join. So kind of an average joining, I think, was around 120, kind of constantly being there all the barcamp, which was quite nice. And that gave people also the chance to contact themselves before or even during the event, which was quite nice. And we could see where they come from. As you can see, most of them are from Europe or quite close beyond, one a bit far away. Maybe that's you. So
I think that's me.
yeah, exactly, because you were also then coming in. I come to this point a bit later. Yes, so that was more or less the amount. And yeah, then we did the same here. We had a welcome slide, let's say, for people who couldn't maybe easily find their way. And then just started the whole session in the main room. And in this main room, and that's also something I would already mention is that worked well, is that we started with an hour of informal getting to know each other, which was really nice. The only thing which I would change next time is that we haven't announced that from the beginning. We came with this idea a bit later, so registered people know about it, other ones not. So I think a few people missed this part and felt like it was a bit too fast jumping into the barcamp. But the ones who joined the welcomes moment of an hour, we used the main room to go in breakout sessions. We prepared some questions for them in order to get started to talk. And that worked really well. We had some background music even in the main room and some warm welcome when people joined, because they were all joining not at the same time. That was Sabrina, really nice.
Did you use the breakout meeting within one Zoom meeting? So
yes.
You can move people and then pull them back?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, for this moment, just the main room, just because we haven't explained all at this point, and we thought that's easier. And yeah. And we also wanted to send them randomly, made by us in a way, yeah, not made by them. So exactly, yeah, that worked very well. And then we started at 2 o'clock in time in the main room to explain a little bit about the barcamp and the timeline. As you can see here, we had 3 rounds, and in the end 6 rooms, which were not all the time filled, but I show you a bit later how we worked out what is where. And then 2 coffee break rooms, or let's say comfort breaks. They asked for comfort breaks for the ones who don't drink coffee. So we even changed the names in between them because people asked that, yes. And in the end, a reporting, which was planned by us to have really not each group saying what happened, but more collectively steaming out of what happened, yeah. And we used for that also in an Etherpad, which you could just involve here, which is nice. And it's really nice if you have these different colors. And we asked, how do you feel? And one more questions, what is the most important aspect? And it's really nice if you let people work on it. You have, let's say, 5 minutes, you have a music in the back, and they just work. And you see if, step by step coming up all these sentences or thoughts, and then people go back and write, yeah, indeed, it's same for me, or something like that. It was really nice as a short wrap up what happened actually. And in order to tell you how we started, I mean, with 100, I did an online barcamp with KikoChat before with just around 30 people. So we knew that, well, with a Google slide, we can easily show an agenda which everybody could see and things. But 120, we weren't sure. And also David from Austria, he brought in another tool, which is Mural. And this is actually quite nice. So it's just another, that's always the point we thought about. You have the Zoom window, yeah, and then you have the browser for KikoChat. It's already two things, and some people struggle sometimes to handle that with one screen. And then you come in with another one, actually. But we thought we do it like that. We use Mural, but until the very last moment of voting, we just share our screen. So we are the whole time in Zoom, share the screen, and ask people to please just switch on the microphone and tell the ideas they have, yeah? And we would then, this is already the filled plan, but we would normally do just a post-it here. So you can also make it a bit bigger, and then you write something in. Let's say I do example now, just, and we just would kind of collect them around the schedule. And then we had, let's say, I think a bit less than there because we doubled then some of them. And we collect all the ideas, and then we started to put them in the schedule, and people could also say, oh, I would like to, if we put it a bit different. Oh no, before we did that, we did something else. So you have all the proposals, and then you can invite people at this point to actually join the mural, which you could also do if I share the link with you. I think you can still go on it as a visitor. Just try if you want. And you go on it then and will see all the proposals and can vote actually on it. And we said, I think people had 5 votes, and they voted then one by one, and you see this then in the end, yeah? You see how many people voted for this, and it's really up chronologically. The first one has 54, and then it goes less and less. And you have a few which are just 16 or 15, yeah? And you can also see it differently in the way of little dots here, yeah? If we go a bit more, here you can see this little dots will also tell you how many votes you have. And this is how we created then some of the proposals were, of course, not in the same time slot if they have a lot of votes, because then people, yeah, cannot clone themselves. So we put them in different slots, and then the less higher ones in others, and then open a little market space to even still negotiate a bit, or ask the question if we can even split it and make 2 rounds, because it was a lot of people wanted to see it, yeah?
I thought
wanted to join.
very well done, because I happened to see this process unfold. So I'll point out exactly what you said. You've got the highest interest Post-its all the way on the left-hand side. I see 54, then 45, and you made sure that the 54 and 45 were happening at different time slots so that people could go to the ones that they were very interested in. I had never used Mural before for that voting process, and I found as a newcomer, you just gave us the link in Zoom and then just click on the Post-its that you want, and it just increased the number. I thought that was very well done, very smooth.
Yeah, I also was also the first time for me, and I like it, and I think it's really doable. If you wait for this voting moment until the last moment, so not to confuse people in between, because then you are still in Zoom and everything is there, you can see the screen. That worked very well. And then we just made a screenshot and also used this here in our session plan, so people could every time go there and have another look. And then also because Lucas was there, he just showed me that I can always set the topics also for the rooms, yeah, which I found quite handy, because we had 15 minutes break in between the sessions, which gave us enough time to actually put the new titles in the rooms or above the rooms. So people actually had no problem to find the topic they wanted to join, because they saw it there, they saw it there. That was really, really handy. Yeah. To see a room, maybe also, we kept it, I mean, it was quite a random audience in a way. Some people may know each other already, others not. So we needed something which was neutral. So we used some design which was just different roofs of rooms, of spaces, in order to give them a little bit of feeling. And then we prepared, of course, a protocol which was also quite well used. And maybe what was also interesting for us, because as I said, we haven't used any round of checking all the protocols or kind of reporting back what happened. Apart from this little collective reporting, we had a graphic facilitator there who then, based on the protocols, and she joined a few of the groups also, she made of each of the sessions smaller descriptions like that. So if you are interested in the protocols in the end, or minutes which were taken, this was helping a bit for people to get the key points out, yeah, which was quite nice. Yeah. Anything else which I haven't mentioned? Yeah. Yeah, I already mentioned that. Yeah, maybe a tricky thing which we were a bit worrying about is, I keep this sharing now, is, and this is why I also contacted Lucas, we had an event before, which was a live stream in Facebook. And as you know, Facebook has then this chat function and all that. And we had unexpected guests, participants, who kind of really behaved like trolls, kind of controlling the chat in a way with their own conversation and their own topics and their own really more like advertising things. And it was 3 of them, so it was really kind of, it felt professional and planned. And we were a bit afraid that this could happen for the barcamp too, because then if people come in and we have no password, they of course could always join any room, yeah, and maybe explode this room. But then I think, I don't know, I think it was not, a barcamp is not the platform they needed, yeah. They were always there or without camera, and then writing things down in the protocols, but in the minutes, but not really raising the voice. So it was in the end totally fine, and we were prepared to, if something happened which is not okay, then we would just take consequences out of it. But for the next time, I would think about maybe to have a password, maybe. Just for if, yeah, I'm not sure. It's really something I'm asking myself in a way, because having this less access barriers is also really nice, that people could join last minute if they want. If they feel like interested, they saw it somewhere and join, really nice. So not sure about that. I also wanted to share something with you, because David wanted to join first, but he cannot because he needs to have some time with his kids. And I asked him what he would make different, or some wishes he still have. And he said he would wish that the changes between the rooms would be still a bit easier. I mean, I think it is already quite easy, but people struggle sometimes with, they click on main room then, and then they think they are in, yeah? So then they think everything is done. But of course not, you have to join for main room in order to use, to be part of the video conference. So maybe this, and I wanted to join something with, share something with you, which he shared with me. He said there is, and maybe interesting for you too, and I don't know if you know that, Lucas. It is this YoTribe, yeah, you know, he shared this with me, which is more visual circles, which you can then join if you check here. That you could then join. If I'm this, I can then join just one of the circles, and then it pops up. So it's a little bit more different way of joining rooms. And he said that could be also a way of having more spaces, of even encountering, how to say, a bit like, I mean, we had 2 extra rooms of coffee breaks, yeah, and people joined these within the sessions, I think, or in between the 15 minutes. But it's not like in a conference where I kind of, or in a residential bar camp, I'm kind of wandering around, and then I meet this one and that one, and I see a group standing there, and I go and join. So something like that, yeah. This is what I also wanted to, because for me it was quite new. I just explored this today, this YoTribe.
YoTribe is a great tool. We unfortunately cannot embed it into Kiko. We found a similar tool that looks more like a video game, which we can embed into Kiko. But I think that even linking out from Kiko to YoTribe is a great option also, to say, if anyone wants to do YoTribe networking in your conference, here's the link, and it's always open, or you can tell people it's going to be open at this time and this time and this time. So many different combinations. Sabrina, this was fantastic. You came quite prepared. We have a few questions. So the first from Andrew: how much work was it to configure Kiko for the Unconference? It looks like there's some effort to get rooms set and Google Slides integrated.
Yeah, it's a good question, because I actually always I started the same, and it's not a long time ago. As I said, I did 2 events now with Kiko. One was a smaller one, and actually the first one, and we joined one of the peer learning events, or starter events, which Lucas is offering, and get to know a bit how this could work, yeah. So it's just a bit, if you see the back end, it looks a bit like, yeah, okay, how to do all that. But then if you join once a session where this is explained, it's kind of it's really self-explanatory, I would say, and quite easy even. So I could even within an event, I could add rooms, I could delete rooms easily, so no problem. As soon as you have understood how once. So, and the Google Slides, of course, as you mentioned, is just you prepared with Google Slides, and then you can just embed it here. So it's actually a folder, one of my folders, and I prepared it like I would prepare slides also normally, showing them in a speech or something. And then this is just an easy link to embed it here. So very easy. And I worked until now with Google Slides, with Google Doc, as you can see in the report, for the minutes, and with an Etherpad.
Rebecca had a question. How did you live stream? Did you live stream?
Oh, we haven't live streamed the barcamp. I said that we started with an opening, and this was live streamed. A barcamp, I mean, as you cannot, then you would need to decide for one room maybe to live stream, and then always make a pause and show something in between. It could work, but it's, I think, not the main idea of a barcamp. So we decided not to live stream the barcamp.
So can I just ask, how did you move from the live stream to the barcamp then? How did you make that seamless?
Oh no, 2 different days. The opening was 1 day before. Yeah. But I think it would work. We did it in the very end. We haven't used Kiko Chat, but I could imagine it would work. We started on the live stream on Facebook in a way. So we used, in this way, we used actually a different software, which is called vMix. So it's not even a really video conference software. It's more broadcasting stuff. And then, but we were present on Facebook, and we communicated this before. And then we said, in order to be public and all that, we wanted to start on Facebook for people to join. And then we in the very end, we had a slide saying, we just changed to Zoom now, or to this and that link, in order to go in breakout sessions. So in this way, I could imagine you could also use Kiko Chat then easily. And that worked even. So we haven't lost people in this way. Yeah.
Zoom comes with live streaming to Facebook and YouTube Live. So we have to prepare a Zoom account that is not one generated by Kiko. So if you have one, or we can purchase one for you, and then we put it on the specific room that you want. So if live streaming is part of your event, not the Unconference, but if it's your event, then we can also make that happen, but just needs a little bit of help from us. Andrew asks, how do you enable hallway conversations in Kiko? Kiko, where you kind of specify the topics for all the different hallway rooms. So Sabrina had, let's say, 15 different rooms going. At the bottom, she could have another 10 or 15 that are just open topic that people can go into at any time. If you wanted to embed something like YoTribe, but it's called Work Adventure, and it has that video game interface, I'm going to put that link in there for you now. And then Rebecca had another question for you, Sabrina. What was the main benefit of using Kiko versus using Zoom and breakout rooms? Did any of the participants struggle with bandwidth?
No, yeah. The main idea is for this. The main benefit for unconferences is if it's an online barcamp or is it in an open space, is that people can easily decide by themselves if they want to join a room, and if yes, which one, and if they feel like, well, actually it's not the topic I expected, I can just leave and join another one. With a breakout session, it would not be so easily and not so self-organized, especially for 120 people. They would always need to go back to the main room telling you that they want to go to an end. Yeah, so it would be just less naturally working, I would say. So it's really nice, and people, I would really say 95%, I would say, even maybe even more, got easily how that works. We had just a little intro in the beginning, so not a lot. And then we had a few people, I think maybe 3, 4, 5, who struggled a bit with, but also depending on their devices, sometimes you need to, and Lucas was there, that was nice. You need to go on help and maybe use one of these open Zoom in a new tab here, so that they could join. They struggle with this button then, because of settings, maybe sometimes, yeah, browser settings, or a tablet is different, or a mobile phone. So this is what we had to find out then, but as soon as I got it, it was easy.
Any other questions from the participants on the interview?
Just very quickly, did you have any people with issues with bandwidth? Because we've got people all over the world and some of them have issues when we do certain things.
Yeah, I understand. No, we haven't had. I mean, if you put the camera off then because they say it's better connection. But as I said, we are most of the people coming from Europe and kind of neighboring countries. So I cannot speak for if we are in Asia or other parts of the countries, if this could be different too, yeah? So for us, worked very well.
Rebecca, there are some phone numbers you can dial into. Not all the countries have a local phone number, but that is also one option. When you click help at the top left there, you'll see international phone numbers for all the countries that Zoom has made it available for. It's down towards the bottom. It says international dial-in numbers. And
yeah, that's also an option probably. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the folks here watching the interview? Sabrina, thank you very much for coming so well prepared. You flew through all that information and it was very clear and very well presented. I thank you for your time today, Sabrina Apitz, great facilitator doing some neat innovation. The first online unconference we had on KikoChat. I wanted to make sure that everyone got a chance to see it. For those that are watching the recording later, I will copy all of the notes here and that are in the chat and paste it into the notes in Kiko so that you can see it there if you wanted to catch up on the conversation. You can reach me at lucas@kikochat.com. Sabrina, if you want to offer your contact information, you're welcome to, or where can people learn more about your work?
Yes, definitely. You can just contact me via sabrina.apitz@gmail. I'm a freelancer mostly, so I'm facilitating different events by different contractors. So I'm not actually part of one organization or something. So, but this is how you can reach me, and I'm very happy. We will do the next one already in September, definitely. And another one is already planned with a good friend of mine and a colleague, Friedrich, in July, in 2 weeks, also with Kiko. A big event with youngsters of 300 youngsters. So we will see how this will work. So
fantastic. It's my recommendation for anyone that is a skilled facilitator in person, but still hesitant online. Team up with someone who's done it online for at least the first one to understand that you can do it and to learn from them and they will learn from you. So thank you very much for the interview today. We'll post this on YouTube so that others can watch it. See everybody online.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.